Good morning, folks. Mary is stupid at the clock. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC. But first, the usual disclaimers. You're going to see a link in the description box. It's the article that the JRC doesn't want you to read. It was written by NeuroClastic, a small non-for-profit started by autistics for autistics, in which they interviewed and surveyed over 900 ABA professionals in regard to the quote-unquote treatment program at the JRC. In fact, the JRC doesn't want you to read this article so much that they threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not yank the article off of their website. NeuroClastic has refused because we will not be silenced about the atrocities going on in this place. So, folks, since we be petty, please share that on all your social media. You'll also see NeuroClassic's public statement in regards to the threat issued by the JRC. And down at the bottom of the description box, you're going to see a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding them just in case the JRC decides to have the balls to pursue their threat. Also, folks, we have the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Hoya's massive archive on the subject, and the templates. Folks, it's important, especially right now, you utilize those templates and reach out to your senators. The JRC, as predicted, is trying to get the provision removed from the bill that will ban electric shock, painful skin shock, the kind that made Andrea McCollum scream and beg for help, okay? Get those templates in there. Let your voice be heard. That our senators know that if they cave to these bastards again, we're going to hold them accountable for it at the ballot box, all right? We also have the ever-present self-explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. When we discuss the JRC, folks, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please use your headphones. It is 4:22 a.m. in the morning, folks. I am pissed off at JRC in general because somehow they always seem to pull out a win. Let's make sure it's not this time. Please use the templates. Also, folks, early morning. I've only had one cup of coffee. So if I stumble over my words, apologies in advance, all right? Now I'm going to have to take a long draught of my calming tea because we're about to go on some special level word salad pretzel bending. Antecedents, attempts, initial stages, and shape down versions. Oh, for fuck's sake, JRC. Your word, what the fuck? JRC has court approval as well as parental approval to treat not only full-blown occurrences of problem behaviors, but also other behaviors so closely related to the problem behavior they need to be treated also, in order to achieve effective treatment and lasting elimination of full-blown occurrences. JRC, for the billionth fucking time, having court approval doesn't make it not torture. Why can't these people get this through their fucking skulls? You know what courts used to also approve, JRC? The witch hunts. You being from Massachusetts should make you more painfully aware than most in this country in regards to how what is court approved isn't always right. Especially when the court in Massachusetts and Salem back in the day stated that, stringing up suspected witches was legal. I would be a little bit more careful with my words if I were you. Your state doesn't have the best fucking history when it comes to court approved decisions. Bad choice of words. Very bad choice of words. You can't fucking use the courts as an excuse to justify the torture of generation after generation after generation of disabled people. Okay? It doesn't fucking work. It falls flat on its face. Courts make fucking fucked up decisions all the goddamn time. I'm just saying, considering one of the things that you're most well known for in the world, the Salem witch trials, that was court approved, not the best words there. Also, but it needs parental approval. Then we have Cheryl McCollins. Remember what she told you about the propaganda that she received, nor did they go into detail over what in regards that her son would be shocked over. She was not given the full information. She was given the propaganda and then made to sign a sheet. They really don't know what all is going on behind those closed doors. Because as we've seen through this massive document of word salad, the JRC chooses to remain extremely vague about their treatment programs, particularly those parts that they know are controversial. Also, here's the sad fact that parents, I hate to say it, but let's talk reality here. Parents don't always have the child's best interest at heart. That's just a fact. If that were the case, we wouldn't have cases of mothers driving their autistic children off bridges or murdering them. Oh, let's go further than that. You wouldn't have child abuse cases. Okay? I'm just saying. That is also not the flex you think it is. Moving, and when they, again, you use these terms like problem behavior, aggressive behaviors, but you refuse to define them. The only thing that you've defined directly is self-injurious behavior. Other than that, you use very vague and open to interpretation terms in regards to what they get shocked over. It's garbage, JRC, and you know it. When you use terms that fucking vague, that gives the person holding the remote control the power to use it for whatever they want and use whatever vague excuse happens to be on the behavior sheet that day to justify what they're doing to these kids. It's garbage on the face of it, and they know it. Moving on. These include antecedent behaviors, attempts to execute the behaviors, beginning stages of the behavior, and the shape-down versions of the behavior that the behavior shows as it is decreased in frequency. Remember, folks, they think cursing is the beginning of behavior. Actually, me cursing, JRC, is a self-regulatory thing, a way to get out my aggression in a healthy way by using my words as opposed to, my fists to your fucking face. Because believe me, JRC, if anyone were to provoke me to violence, it's you fucking people. Okay? As it does any sane human being. Moving on. The typical student entering the JRC engages in many types of behaviors that are extraordinarily difficult and significantly interfere with appropriate behavior or learning and thereby cause serious harm to the student. Here we go again. You see these vague terms. You see what I'm talking about, right? Many types of behaviors. Seems like they don't define them, do they? These are the types of behaviors that neurotypical teenagers get away with all the fucking time. But God forbid a person with a disability act like a regular teenager for 5 fucking minutes without being tortured for it. Moving on. But it didn't interfere with your education, your behaviors? My behaviors did not interfere with my education. My education system interfered with my education, okay? When you have teachers who are literally bullies who prey upon you because you are different from every single other student in the class, when you are putting up day after day decent grades, but they still look to ostracize you and embarrass you in front of the entire class. When you have receipts on them going behind your back and spreading fucking rumors about you, that actually gets back to the parents and the parents find out and get the receipts and have the culprit. Yeah. The education system was the problem with me getting an education. I had to provide basically my own education by basically living in the library the entirety of my school career. Okay? Me having stems where I twist ponytail holders or where I shake my leg incessantly did not prevent me from learning anything. In fact, giving into those stems and self-regulating helped me concentrate more on the subject I was studying in what class at the time. It's garbage, JRC. We make you uncomfortable. And therefore you want to torture us until we're fucking as miserable as you are. Can we call it what it is? One cannot judge the appropriateness of a given treatment procedure without understanding the entire treatment context. That's the thing, JRC. You think if we don't agree with you, we don't understand. It's garbage. Just because I don't agree with you, just because I think your behavior treatment is beyond fucked and not even something we would actually allow to be used on criminals, doesn't mean I don't understand. It is you, JRC, who don't understand. You're torturing these kids. You're not helping them. None of the things that you do in this school is going to do anything to assist them in becoming more interdependent or be able to help them in any way be able to ingratiate and integrate themselves in the community. In fact, what you do by putting all this stress on these kids is make the quote-unquote problem behaviors fucking worse. Just say it. In such case, if positive-only treatment is unsuccessful by itself in controlling such behaviors, it is considered using the GED procedure in conjunction with the positive procedures. That's what problem with ABA. Control, 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 control. They don't want to help us. They want to control us. Can I say it for the people in the back? ABA and the people who use it. All ABA. All ABA. Let me say it for the people in the back. All ABA. Not just what JRC does, But all ABA period, even the so-called kinder, gentler ABA, all has one goal in mind. They don't want to help us. They want to control us. We make this world so goddamn uncomfortable just because of the crime of being born with a different sort of brain. That instead of trying to help us be our best selves, you want to control us and force us into your own mold. Of your own device, even. Not even your mold, but a mold of your own device that not even your common neurotypical teenager off the street would be able to match. Just saying. JRC observes each student carefully and designs an individual treatment plan for each student that targets the problematic behaviors particular to that student. And here we go with problematic behaviors again. It's all about control, folks. It's all about control. That's all it's always been about. People don't like what's different. And people, as we know, if we just look at history a little bit, handle people who are different in horrific ways. It's all about control. They don't like and are terrified of those things and those people who are born differently from them. So they are going to use any means necessary in order to exert a sort of control over us and force us into a way of being that better suits them. That's all it is. That's all it's ever been. They never expected for us to develop a movement and fight back. They never expected us to be able to network with one another and build a movement. They never expected us to be able to counter their every argument with rational, logical, unharmful alternatives. They never saw us coming. But we're here to stay. And we're going to keep fighting this battle long after the JRC has been gone and buried. Until this idea to control us, as opposed to actually help us achieve our best selves, continues to be a thing in the medical community, will be here. As long as they try to say that none of us should have any right or ability to say how our treatment is and how we are treated, we're here to stay. And as long as we are continued to have our human rights violated with impunity in the name of treatment, we're here to stay. And on that note, folks, we're going to go ahead and close out this morning. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this morning. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.